journals, articles in the national, international conferences. Apart from co-authoring a number of textbooks, he has presented numerous papers on management field. Professor has extensively traveled over 38 countries. You are all astonished to know this. More than 38 countries traveling by a single person is not an ordinary task. To get global perspectives on the management. Not only this, he is a good research guided, produced a number of PhD scholars in the field of management. He is a renowned professor in international universities, not only in India but also in foreign countries, and addressed more than 1 lakh students as well as faculty members in India as well as abroad. Besides being an excellent academician and educationist, Dr. Maram is involved with a large number of corporate social responsibility activities. He is the district chairman of Yuan's International and trustee of Lions Super Specialty Eye Hospital, Lions District Service Foundation. Additionally, he is the chief mentor of great initiative Bangalore Green concept, which has aimed at environmental conservation in Bangalore throughout his lifetime. Received so many awards, to mention a few here. A prestigious Knighthood Award from UK, Samna Seva Sushant Award from Shubharam Trust, MTC Global Top 10 Thinkers of the World Education Leadership Award from Dayananda Sagar Group, Ramaswamy Alvar Best Young Teacher Award from AIMS, Batra Best Research Award, Education Evangelist of India Award, Lions International Presidency Award, Medal, Karnataka Chakra Award, Medal of Honor from CIAC Global and the Education Post, and many more. Friends, he also served in the different capacities in the prestigious national and multinational organizations. To mention a few here, so he was chief advisor of MK International Group of Companies, vice president CAC Global Confederation of International Accreditation, and FKCCI, Ashocham member advisor, and there are many more. So due to the paucity of time, sorry sir, I am not able to explain in detail to give full description to our research scholars, youngsters and delegates. Thank you very much sir for providing me an opportunity to speak about you in brief. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Shekharji, for introducing the keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, may I call upon Dr. Hari Krishna Maran to deliver the keynote address. Over to Hari Krishna Maran.
Good morning, friends. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. What a wonderful opportunity to me to be part of this international conference today at Tumkur University, because this is the first time I am getting an opportunity to interact with a large gathering at Tumkur University. So I think definitely this credit and also opportunity provided by the entire team of Tumkur University is definitely a great appreciable. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Y.S. Siddegowda ji, who is a very good friend of mine from almost a decade. As he rightly told, we work in multiple organizations in different places in different capacities together. And I see that dynamism, that kind of the work what he implemented in multiple places, same thing is happening in Tumkur University. Because the kind of development which taken place during his tenure, a very short tenure, but it is reflecting when we enter into this campus. At the same time, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to my other good friend, Professor K. Shivachintappa, the Registrar, Tumkur University, whom I know from our Mysore days, because I used to meet him quite often in Mysore University. He used to head a research department, he used to be a part of academic conferences quite a lot, and we joined together and organized few conferences in a very big way in Bangalore University auditorium, the Jnana Jyoti auditorium, bringing I think more than 25 country international speakers, which happened physically a couple of years back, I think 2.5 years back, before the COVID. And definitely it's a challenging task, because today if you look at the scenario across the world, because so many countries are locked down, you see once you open the TV, once you open the newspapers, not only that, once you open the browser of your own mobile, lot of cases, as rightly told by Honorable Vice Chancellor now, it is going at more than 100 kilometers speed, the kind of cases which are happening. But I think the Tumkur University team, headed by Honorable Vice Chancellor and the Registrar and their team, you have taken a very kind of a great initiative, bringing all of us, connecting here, sharing our ideas. It's a great step. And now I think the way the conference is going on now is a blended mode. I think the number of people who are sitting in this auditorium, and I also getting some messages, and Dr. Shivachintappa also getting, into the Zoom, how many members are joined in the account. It's a very good way to go ahead on the digital era today. Because today when we are talking about the entire education ecosystem in this world, today more than 1.5 billion students from primary education to the PhD are unable to attend the classes. We have a wonderful campuses in the world, as the introduction, the great introduction done by your team member of Tumkur University. So 38 countries what he was referring, which was just 4 years back figure. I added in the last 3 years, even during this COVID, I traveled almost one more 18 countries in the last 3 years. So I added now almost 55, 56 countries and visited closely around 900 universities in the world. 900 universities in the world, including Harvard, including MIT, including Oxford, including Cambridge. Not only just visiting, just going to the door and looking at that, I went inside and I did a couple of programs in MIT. I did a program in Oxford University. This is a long-term program for almost 1 month. It's called Education Leadership Program. So why I'm referring these all things? Today, if 1.5 billion students are able to attend the physical classes and use wonderful facilities which are available in these campuses, including your Tumkur campus, it's a beautiful campus. I not explored much, but definitely it's a beautiful campus. Whatever I seen in the morning from last 20-30 minutes, it's a beautiful campus. I think you people done a great work to develop this campus in a very short period. Because when Honorable Vice Chancellor was telling about India's story, India is a Vishwaguru. India is known for education. You have universities, I think I don't know how many people have heard of Nalanda, Takshashila. These all universities, when you read, when you Google it, for example, a university called Nalanda, that time, I am talking about thousands of years back, there is no road facilities. There is no flights to come. Today, from Bangalore to here, we are able to reach in 1 hour 20 minutes from our Jayanagar office. That time there is no roads like this, and there is no airports. There is no proper transportation system. But more than 45 to 50 country students, they used to walk for months to reach India to join as a students for Nalanda. And Nalanda used to offer more than 150 programs. That time, I am talking about long back, 150 programs. And the library of Nalanda is, now we are talking about 20 floors, 30 floors buildings in Bangalore, big apartments and all. That time it was a 9-floor library, which used to have books which you cannot be able to imagine. And it took almost, I don't know how many months, maybe my Honorable Vice Chancellor can add, it took months to burn. Somebody tried to burn the books. It took months to complete the process. Still we saved some books. So that is what the entire world knows us as a Vishwa Guru. And definitely, this is not just a word of Vishwa Guru. Today, India is playing a very critical and important role in the global economy. Because when we are talking about the commerce, information technology, part of this international conference, these two elements are very important in this world. Today, the global economy, 2022, the figure, we just got the 2021 figure, the consolidated up to December figure, just 2 days back. So the global economy is a 100 trillion economy. As rightly told by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, we are just close to 2.95 trillion, the India share. But if you look at the largest economy in this world, that is United States of America, which contribute 21.5 trillion economy, which is the highest. So, why I am specifically talking about the US economy, today US economy, the 21.5 trillion economy, the contribution from India is the highest. 15% of US economy is contributed none other than Indians who manages some of the largest corporations of this world. I think you know all these people, including the Microsoft, Satya Nadella, Google, Sundar Pichai, IBM, Ajay Krishna, and the latest addition to this is Twitter is heading by again Indian. And we have a woman leaders like Indra Nooyi, who earlier handled one of the largest FMCG company called Pepsi. So like this, if you look at the top 100 companies of this world, we call the Fortune 500. Out of the Fortune 500, if you look at top 100 companies of this world, out of these top 100 companies, 32 companies are headed by none other than Indians who studied from like these universities only. They are not coming from Sky or Mars or somewhere. They are all studied from Tumkur University or Bangalore University, Mysore University. These kind of universities only, they are there. And Karnataka, we are always proud that universities like Mysore University, where our Honorable Vice Chancellor also very actively involved, created a Bharat Ratnas. You know how many Bharat Ratnas are produced, and it is not easy to get a highest honor in this India, where 1.4 billion people are there, and Mysore University is able to produce the Bharat Ratnas highest than any university in this country. And we are really proud as a Kannadiga, because today the place where I am sitting, the Bangalore, is become a role model to this world. Today, Bangalore is the largest startup ecosystem of the world, overtaken even the California, the Silicon Valley. Sorry. Earlier, everyone used to call California is the Silicon Valley. Today, Bangalore is just overtaken. Even during pandemic, in the last 18 to 19 months, 185 companies, new companies, which are started in Bangalore. The population of Bangalore, I am talking about only the Bangalore city, is 11 millions, 1.1 crore people. Out of these 11 million people, 29% of the population who are living in Bangalore are involved in technology, whether directly or indirectly. And some of the best companies of the world, including Infosys, which again started by, all you people are familiar, I think, Narayan Murthy, who comes again from Namma Karnataka, and Wipro, the Ajim Premji. These all companies today become a multinational companies. These companies are giving a great competition to companies like Microsoft, companies like Google. And within just a span of 2 to 3 decades of experience, these companies become so big. And today, if you talk about the market capitalization of Bangalore, Bangalore is the first, I think I'm talking about the Karnataka, is going to the first state in India to reach to 1 trillion economy shortly. There are a couple of other states, they are competing with a large population, with a large vast area. But if you see real economic growth, even during this pandemic, happening only in Bangalore, that is in Karnataka. I think, hope you people might have reading in newspaper, the kind of companies are coming. Today the number one EdTech company, that means the company which is related to technology and education is Byju. I think ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ mostly Byju ನಿಮಗೆ. ಈ Byju ಅಂತ ಕಂಪನಿ ಒಂದು 10 ವರ್ಷ ಮುಂಚೆ, I am talking about today we are in 2022 Jan. 2010, the founder of this company, Byju Ravindran, he used to come to our colleges to teach our students to prepare for CAT and MAT. Nam colleges bartare sir. He used to live in Koramangala. He used to come to our colleges, 2-3 colleges, Krupalidhi College, Christ, he colleges galala bandu. He used to take sessions for BBA students, how to prepare for CAT, how to prepare for a MAT. And we used to pay, you will not believe, 550 rupees per hour.
He was coming to AMC.
Correct. So today, the same Byju Ravindran is a worth of $18 billion. Can you believe? In just 6 to 7 years, the same Byju, promoted by Mr. Byju Ravindran, is the number one EdTech company with an 18 billion market capitalization. $1 billion means how much? All economic students. How much is 1 billion? Now, Indian rupees,
70 billion.
1 billion is equivalent to how much?
100 crores.
100 crores is Indian rupee. I am talking about $1 billion. 7,600 crore. 18 billion. You're not able to imagine the kind of growth these companies are going. So the same way, you have Ola, you have Big Basket. You name the companies today, we have more than 85 to 100 companies which become $1 billion company from Bangalore. 85 to 100 companies, startups, which just started 10 years back, below 10 years, this become a $1 billion companies. There is a club called $1 billion club. So there are 85 to 100 companies are there from Bangalore. So that is the power of Bangalore. So if one Bangalore can able to become that much, imagine how many Bangalores we can able to create in Karnataka. We have Mysore, we have Tumkur, we have Hubli, we have Mangalore. So the power, Bangalore power is not only with the Bangalore people. Bangalore become powerful because it become a cosmopolitan. Today, Bangalore attracts, I think, more than 100 country people live in Bangalore. It is not only, only Karnataka people or only Indian people. Today, Bangalore become an international destination, international icon today. Today, everybody knows in this world, they don't know where is, exactly Bangalore comes, which part of India or which, whether it is the South India, North India, they don't know, but they know as city, the tech city called Bangalore. So, today I think most of you people are, especially I am talking about the student community, are little worried what will happen to our future. Because the COVID scenario is there, a lot of job loss, a lot of opportunities are getting, diverted. What will going to happen now? Again, cases are going up. The Omicron, we don't know, again, just 2 days back, there is one more news. There is a new variant of Delta and Omicron combination at Cyprus. So, when this uncertainty will stop, whether this is going to be end of this COVID, we don't know, nobody knows, including the WHO, including the Nobel laureates, they don't know. But as an Indian, we know that we have a great future in coming years. We are not lost in the opportunity. The reason is we have a strong fundamentals in our economy. If you look at last 100 years history of India, I am talking about 1920 to 2020, 100 years history of India. In 1920, what is the situation? In 1920, what is the situation of India?
Struggling for independence.
We are our own, or what is our position in India in 1920?
Struggling for independence.
We were ruled by Britishers. So we don't have any control on ourselves. We don't have a democracy. We don't have a freedom. But still, we were at 2% GDP that time. 2% GDP at that time, growing, and our currency is up to the mark of US dollar. And in last 100 years, we created a huge wealth, not only to this country, to this world. 10-15 years back, we were talking about only India, India, India. Today, everywhere, wherever we go, in conferences, in seminars, travel and all, always people say, what India can able to contribute to this world. This is a new phenomenon. What India can able to contribute to this world. That is what I am talking at the beginning. The Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai. This is a contribution to the entire world. The Microsoft is having offices in 208 countries. 208 countries. Google having presence everywhere, including in the sky. So this is the contribution of Indians to the global. So the same way when I am talking about 22 trillion economy of US, out of that 15% is contributed by none other than Indians who are living there as a doctors, as a professors, as a IT engineers, as a entrepreneurs. They are contributing to the US economy. Can you able to believe if US is shining because of India? Because not their own. Why today US is inviting lot of our, skilled people to come and settle there because they know the power of Indians. Today, you will not see any country in this world without India. Any country, even a smaller country with a 10,000 population, you will see one India. Definitely. And these all not happened just over 4 years or 5 years. These all happened from long time. Today, not only IT people, today in US, the most respected doctors are Indians. Not a US doctors, not a UK doctors. The waiting period to meet Indian doctor is highest than other doctors. Today, if you look at the Harvard, MIT, Stanford, the deans of these universities, the leading professors of these universities are Indians. Today we have Nobel laureates which are coming, who are Indians settled in other countries, especially in economics. You know how many our Indians are able to reach to, including the latest, the Nobel laureate. So that is the power of India, what I would like to highlight here and give you confidence that you have a stronger future, you have a brighter future in coming years, because the advantage of India is you, not Narendra Modi. The advantage of India is you. Why I am telling, today out of this 1.4 billion, 140 crore, we always say in all conferences and everywhere, the demographic dividend. What is this demographic dividend is? The youth of India. 60% of our 140 crore is below 35 age. Can you just imagine what is going to happen? Now, just 2 days back, they given us statistics because the vaccine they are going to give to the younger population. So each state they given, each state, how many people are below 18? And we are very happy that India strongest asset is the youth. And this youth is going to transform our nation globally, and they are the people who are going to make India strong and going to make India as the third largest economy in the next 3 to 4 years. As Vice Chancellor sir was telling, 8 years to make 8 trillion of the 9, correct. Because our target is in the next 3 years to reach to 5 trillion.
By 2025.
Yeah, 5 trillion. So as the Honorable Vice Chancellor told, the 9 trillion dream is going to happen. And you are going to be a part of that. Each one who is sitting in this conference hall is going to be a part of that 9 trillion dream of India. And we can create so many companies like Byju in coming years. Byju is not going to be the end of our journey. We are going to create so many Byjus, so many Infosys, so many Wipros, so many Olas. Because today, ideas comes from universities. Ideas, including the vaccine, the first vaccine which we are all taken. Which is that vaccine?
Vaccine. Vaccine.
From where? Which university?
Bharat
Which
Biotech.
university this vaccine came?
Bharat Biotech.
Oxford University from UK in collaboration with AstraZeneca, which is a UK company. Because what happened is, university will not have a huge funds. University will have a brain. Company will have a money. So this is a joint collaboration between the university and company, and they developed the vaccine in a very short span. The moment COVID started, in less than 7 to 8 months, they launched the vaccine globally. The same way, why today US is strong in economy, why today China is strong in economy, why China is able to, overtake all the countries, because the academia presence, the university contribution to the research, to the industry is the highest. In India, still we have long way to go this. That's why these kind of conferences are very relevant to discuss, to bring new things, how we can able to contribute to this world, how we can able to give, kind of value addition to the industry, to the public, to the people. So if you talk about any innovations, including the Tesla car, so today I think most of you people are familiar. The Tesla, Elon Musk, is the number one, the richest person in this world. Even during this COVID, in the last 3 months, his wealth has gone up $90 billion, where everybody is crying, jobs are losing, companies are closing, but this fellow, in the last 3 months, he added $90 billion. And Tesla car on road, the lowest number of cars is Tesla only. If you count the total number of cars which are moving Tesla cars in the world, is the lowest, because they have factories only in US. If you look at the Maruti Udyog, only half of Maruti Udyog cars are Tesla cars. But they have become number one, because again, innovation. You got a point called innovation. So this is what innovation. Tesla, with the innovation of electricity, hybrid, they are able to become number one. So today world is open for innovations. Today entire world is looking at a greater innovations, not money. Because Tesla founder is not having so much money. He tried jobs in Microsoft, Google, Facebook, everywhere, and he failed. And he started this company. I think most of you people are using Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Yes? How many people use Facebook? Yeah. I think the Facebook is the world's largest population, not China. Today, the world's largest population is Facebook. You know how many people use Facebook in this world? 1.7 billion, 170 crore people use Facebook. So they created a separate nation. You know from where it started, Facebook? From where it started?
USA.
From Harvard University. The Mark Zuckerberg is a student of Harvard University. So he started this from his hostel. The same way, if I bring Indian example to conclude you, Redbus.com is also from campus. Big Basket is all from campus. These all ideas are from campuses. And today, in India, we have 1,000 plus universities, 49,000 colleges, 1.2 million schools, the primary schools and playgrounds and all. With all together, we have 450 million, that is 45 crore student population, which is the highest in this world. So if this is the power of the knowledge, then sky is not a limit. Earlier we used to always say, sky is the limit, sky is the limit. Now sky is not limit. We can go beyond sky. And that is the power of our young demographic dividend, that is you. And to just conclude, I will give you a small story which takes only 1.5 minutes. You all, I think, familiar with Olympics?
Yes.
Everyone. So Olympics, it is like the highest gathering of the people in sports, and it happens not regularly, once in how much frequency?
4 years. 4 years.
Okay. So which is the most popular event in Olympics?
Track.
Most popular event, sports event in Olympics.
100 meter. Race.
Yeah, correct. 100 meters. Somebody told 100 meters is the most popular. So who is the gold medal winner in 100 meters? Usain Bolt. And these 100 meters happened in 9.5 seconds. This is Usain Bolt record. Who is the silver medal winner?
Gatlin.
Who is the bronze medal winner? So the same question normally I ask whenever I see the students. Whenever I see the student and I address, I ask this question. When I ask the gold medal winner, 70% of the students they say Usain Bolt. Yes, right. The moment it comes to the silver, no, nothing. Hardly. In last 10 years, only hardly 1 or 2 people. When it comes to bronze, till now, no one, except in one college in Bangalore. One college in Bangalore, one university. Same way I was addressing one student at the last bench, immediately he replied. So I am also very happy. So I met the director, I said I would like to meet this student after my speech. So the director also felt so happy. But the student is little nervous. Then once I am coming out after my speech, the student came to me and he said, sorry. I said, why you are telling sorry? You are so fast, you are given proper reply. I said, sir, Wi-Fi free there. So you ನಾನು ಗೂಗಲ್ ಹೋಗಿ 100 ಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಸರ್. So otherwise very difficult to remember the silver and bronze. Why I am giving this example is in 100 meters 9.5 seconds is the time which the Usain Bolt takes to create a record and to create a gold medal. The second silver medal fellow,
Get.
the difference between the gold and silver is just a fraction of second. That means Usain Bolt touched the finishing line and the silver medal person just about to put his leg on the finishing line. Just about to put. His leg is in air. The third bronze person who received the bronze medal in Olympics, he raised his leg to put on the finishing line. But this entire world remembers who? Usain Bolt. Today in same Bangalore, in the last 20 years, more than 20,000 companies are started. But everybody remembers only Infosys, Narayan Murthy. Everybody remembers Biocon, Kiran Majumdar-Shah. Why? Why they remember? Because they are successful people. They are successful. So, I wish all these students to be successful in your life, like Usain Bolt, to be remembered by this entire world. Because Usain Bolt is, in his entire lifetime, he received 8 gold medals in Olympics. So can anybody guess how many minutes he might have spent to receive these 8 medals on the track? How much time he might have spent to receive these 8 gold medals in Olympics, in the Olympics track to run?
80 seconds.
Just average take 9.5 seconds into 8 medals. All economics, management,
1 point.
less than 3 minutes. Less than 2 minutes actually. So that much time he took. But he took 15 years practice. Every day minimum 7 to 8 hours to become a champion. So I request all you people to put that efforts, because this is the right time, right age to put that efforts to reach to that position. And once again, thank you very much to Honorable Vice Chancellor and the entire team for giving this wonderful opportunity to interact with you all, and wishing you great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hare Krishna Mal. for sharing your intellectual thoughts on innovation and creativity. We have with us guest of honor Dr. Preeti